Hello, I'm the Miami Autism Dad, Victor Antunez, inclusive my Realtor, and this is the Autism Podcast at Miami's Community Newspapers. Today, I'm with Rhonda Anderson, Vice Mayor of Coral Gables, and with Raquel Elejabarrieta, Human Resources and Risk Manager Director of Coral Gables. Ladies, thank you for being here. Rhonda, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at the city.
Well, thank you for having us on the show. As introduced, I am the Vice Mayor. I was elected as a commissioner and serving as Vice Mayor right now. What I do at the city is I try to address any issues that come forward. And I know we're here dealing with particular issues today. So if you want to focus on those or if you want to focus on anything else, I'm here to answer all your questions.
Thank you, Rhonda. Raquel?
Great. Thank you for having us. So HR director, as you stated, but I'm also the city's ADA coordinator. I think I'm sitting here because I'm the city's ADA coordinator. So from that perspective, so what we're trying to do is make the city as accessible as possible to all individuals with all abilities, all challenges. We want to be inclusive, make sure that the city is as accessible as possible for everyone.
Great. Now, Rhonda, you have a personal into this world with your sister, I believe. You want to expand on that maybe?
Well, at the age of 28, she had a major stroke. It was before medications existed to ameliorate the impacts of that. As a result, she lost a lot of cognitive abilities as well as mobility impairment completely on one side of her body. It was a total relearning process, and it was also a learning process for me because I learned, what it would take for somebody like herself and others to be able to navigate in this world and cope. So that was an opener, and my husband as well is disabled. And then during my career, I was representing folks with disabilities in trying to get access to places, from public places to also housing as well, because you need to have the parking space, you need to have a way to get inside of somewhere to be able to enjoy the public, what everybody else in the public enjoys.
Mm-hmm. And Raquel, how did you get to be the ADA director?
So when I came to the city of Coral Gables, a little bit of my background is an employment attorney. So I had experience with the ADA. Mm-hmm. And so from an employment perspective, and so when I came to the city of Coral Gables, Craig Ling was the city attorney. He's a huge advocate for autism and for all individuals with disabilities. The city needed to appoint an ADA coordinator. And they felt with my employment background under the ADA, that would be an easy transition. And so they appointed me as the ADA coordinator, and I've been doing it since now for the past almost 10 years.
Thank you. And by the way, ADA, 35 years this month.
Absolutely, this month.
We're celebrating 35 years.
A week ago.
You're right. Yeah. So it's just that time, 35 years. Yeah. That's a long time ago.
Yep.
Now, as I told you guys earlier before we started, that this began as the Autism Podcast. Mm-hmm. But then as you start meeting people, you realize that autism is just one of many disabilities. In fact, there's 13 that the state of Florida recognizes. And many people don't realize this, but 1 in 6 people in the U.S. lives with some kind of disability. So in Dade County, with a population of 2.8 million people, that could be between 500 and 600,000 people. So with the ADA coordination going on at the city, what are the biggest disabilities that you're dealing with, getting the city ready to handle these people, making things accessible for them?
So we have those who have the physical disability, right? So we want to make sure that our city is accessible. So our entrances, our sidewalks, those types, there's no barriers, right? So we want to remove all physical barriers for those that are mobility impaired or have a physical disability. But I think also what we do a lot is we work a lot with the neurodivergent population, right? And so we have a lot of services that we offer through our community recreation department, through our senior adult activity center. So we have a lot of programming that we do for that population. And it's a challenge, but we want to provide them a safe place to socialize for adults, actually, mainly for adults who are neurodivergent. And so we provide a lot of programming for that population, for them to have an opportunity to socialize, do different activities, meet different people, meet people that are similar to them, form friends group, that type of. So we do a lot with that as well.
Now, these neurodivergent adults, talking about cognitive decline, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now, Rhonda, when your sister was 28, what year was that?
That was 1984.
It's been a while. So how have you seen the world or Coral Gables change in terms of accessibility for your sister and people in the same situation?
It's been a tremendous change. She doesn't live in Coral Gables, so she is not as blessed to have as accessible an area as Coral Gables is. Every area in Miami-Dade County has its challenges. I know from my law practice, some cities have been sued in the past to be able to, make them aware that they need to do this transition plan. And when I started as a commissioner about, 4+ years ago now, I sat down with Raquel and I said, where is our transition plan? And it's an Excel sheet, of stuff that we need to do. And people just don't realize that there's a tremendous mountain of things to do throughout a city. It's not just one building. It's all the sidewalks. It's all the parking. There is a tremendous amount of work to do.
Now, if we're looking for like high leverage activities or things that we could do, what are the high leverage things that we can do?
The high leverage things when you're talking about disabilities is getting people in the door of where they need to go.
Okay.
So you need to be able to get across the street. You need to have curb cut. You need to have parking, that type of stuff. In our public facilities, you need to have the essentials that everybody needs. You need to have a bathroom that you can use. You need to be able to get in the door. And it's easier said than done because you have to be able to know what the requirements are. And, I have a lot of people asking me, well, why do you need 18 inches on one side of the door to be able to get in? Because it's impossible otherwise with a wheelchair to be able to get inside that door. Give it a try. I did have a wheelchair in my office for a while so I could teach some folks, the difficulties. And then I found somebody that needed it. So it has been adopted. And I'm glad it's found a home where someone can actually be using it every day. So, that's some of the priorities. I look for getting someone in the door first, getting someone across the street, getting them to the necessary bathroom facilities.
Now, another thing I see that Coral Gables does very right is the parks for the kids. Now, if you don't have an autistic kid, you don't realize that they're all runners. Like here's a statistic that 50% of autistic kids will wander. It's 100% actually.
Yeah.
So it's great that when I go to these parks in Coral Gables, they've all got a fence.
Right.
People don't realize what a big deal it is to have a fence around a park because then you can just let your kid go and they can do whatever they want to do.
Right. They can burn off that energy. And even for children that aren't, autistic, they're 4 and under.
Yes.
You cannot expect them to stay, within the boundaries of a park. So the fences are critical. Both for protecting the kid from getting out, and it also prevents, dogs from coming in, for instance, to, run with the kids. They can knock over the kids, etc.
So Salvador Park, I don't know if you've been to Salvador Park. So that was the city's first fully inclusive, all accessible playground for children. So it has the fence, but all the playground equipment is fully accessible.
What does that mean exactly?
So it means like if your child is in a wheelchair, the transition it's very easily transitioned into using the they have like a zip line, the merry-go-round.
A lot of fun, that zip line. I ride it too.
Right. So it's fully accessible in that sense, and then also different features, sensory features. It contains different sensory features as well. So we're really proud of that. It's part of the design process. We want to have inclusive design. So our Parks Department does a really great job. Always thinking outside the box and making sure, it's called inclusive design. We want to make sure that we're thinking of those things, right? About the runners, about this, so it's incorporated into our design.
So one thing I thought was remarkable about the design of that park was they included the children from Crystal Academy in evaluating what it is that they wanted. You have in music, you have this type of interactiveness that exists there that you don't have at other parks. I think it's an excellent way for them to release, that energy that they need to release.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, Rhonda, you had mentioned Crystal Academy as being one of these organizations that you're very proud of. Like, what is Crystal doing right that others can learn from?
Oh my God, they do magical things to me. To me, it's just amazing how they were able to take these children and work with them from a very young age and get them to adulthood to a point where they can participate in programs and seek employment from employers not only in the city. We have employed some folks, and Raquel can fill us in more on that, but also stores and grocery stores and places where they can feel productive in life. So one of my dreams is that, we can have one of those homes like a Casa Familia somewhere in Coral Gables so that families with children that are autistic can also have a place for their children to after they age out to be able to live in the future.
Now, I know what Casa Familia is, but can you tell people what it is to you?
To me, it's a place where you have an individual that's helping manage it, and you have several adults with autism that are living there together. And together they can take care of each other and be so much safer and productive.
Now, one problem we have in South Florida is we're just running out of land. How would Coral Gables fit that within the city?
That's a very important question. We have to have someone that, has the interest in moving forward on that.
Yes, and that'd be quite expensive too, I'm sure.
Everything is expensive now. Land everywhere is expensive.
Now, Raquel, we spoke earlier about some neurodivergent people you have hired at the city. Tell me about that, please.
Absolutely. But let me digress really quick.
Sure.
Crystal Academy, one of the important things that they do, at least for the city, is they open the doors to our public safety personnel. So we have our police officers are constantly, they go to Crystal Academy, they interact with all the different children that there. So they get to see that autism is just not, the autism spectrum is so large, right? It's so wide, right? So they open the doors and we have our police officers trained there, our firefighters trained there. We're allowed to go into Crystal Academy and spend some time with the students there and get to have better understanding. So when our public responders go out and respond to a call with someone who is autistic, they have a better understanding of how to deal with it. So I think that's really important. That's really how they help us. In terms of hiring, absolutely, we're in partnership with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. They have a program called Project Victory. So these are young adults between usually the ages of 17 and 21. They're still attending high school. So they go to Coral Gables High for the first half of the school day, and then they come to City Hall, and they spend the second 4 hours or the second half at City Hall doing whatever types of job we need them, depending on their skill level, their skill set, right? They'll be answering phones, working on Excel sheets, making photocopies, whatever it is that they can do, and they assist us either at City Hall, our finance department, our development services department. And that's for them to learn different, not only social skills, but also skills that they can, take on to another job. We hired someone in HR who is our receptionist, and we hired him from that program. So we're really excited about that. And he's been with us about 1.5 years now. He's doing excellent. We have about 12 students every year that participate in this program. So our goal is to continue this program and hopefully continue to hire, or give them the employability skill set that they need to be hired elsewhere.
Now, these 12 students, what is the age range?
18 to 21.
And they're at Coral Gables?
Coral Gables High. So they're Miami-Dade County Public School students. Some of them cannot graduate because they do not have the cognitive abilities to pass the test, but they're still allowed to be in the public school system, I believe, until age 21 or 22. So they are still allowed to continue to go to that school and gain some skill sets. And they try to teach them different skills that they would need to hopefully find employment elsewhere.
Now, 12, is that because that's all you have, or is that like a limit?
That's our limit, just because we want to make sure that we have enough work for them and work that's valuable, right? And depending on their skill set. So that's all that we think at City Hall right now that we could take or really provide meaningful opportunities for them.
No, I was asking at Coral Gables, how many students?
Oh, they have more students. So this city, they have this partnership they have with the city of Coral Gables, and they have with other employers as well. So we have 12 that are assigned to the Gables.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Publix is one of the employers.
Yep.
What are other employers within Coral Gables, and not just the big ones, maybe some small mom and pops that you've had success with?
So we don't reach out to the employers. We are now beginning to work with the Chamber of Commerce for the city of Coral Gables to, like you said, Autism Action. We want now action, and we want them to follow the city's example of hiring an individual who is neurodivergent. And so we are beginning to work with the Chamber on that. But we haven't done that yet. That's sort of our next step, is working with the Chamber, advocating that they also employ either individuals who graduate from Project Victory or another similar type program.
Well, I'll just add the cinema.
The cinema
as one individual employed.
That's right.
We do. Gables Congregational Church has another individual employed.
There's a couple of restaurants that have individuals that employ, but
so this is a shameless plug that I'm going to have you talk about.
Yes.
Talk about.
Oh, Aira. Aira, this is great. So Aira is an app, and this is for the visually impaired. So if you're within the city of Coral Gables, and you have this app on your phone, you'll get a notification that you're within the geofence in the city of Coral Gables. If you use this app, it'll be free of charge. And what IRA is a free visual interpreter, or ASL interpreter. So if you have that app, you click on it, you open it, and you'll be connected to a visual interpreter who will be telling that individual through their iPhone camera everything that individual is seeing. So they need to cross the street. If they need...
it's a person looking... Oh, that's
your camera. It connects you to a visual interpreter. So that visual interpreter is seeing what that person's... wherever that person is focusing the camera on. He needs to cross the street, needs to read a menu, the price on a store on Miracle Mile, for example. And so while you're within the geofence, it's free. And so we're really trying to promote this for those who use it. We believe that a lot of people who use it, it costs per minute. I don't know what the rate is, whatever it is per minute. But if you're within our boundaries, you can use it for free. So we really think it's a great tool.
It sounds like a great tool. Now let's do some more shameless plugs here.
Mm-hmm.
South Miami, they've got this program now where they put these trackers on either older people with Alzheimer's, dementia, or young kids that wander. Do you know if you guys or Dade County is looking into these kind of programs?
I don't know if we've looked into it yet, but it sounds like
it's a little controversial.
Oh, really? Why is it controversial?
It depends on who the parent is or the child. They don't like to be identified or registered, so it gets a little bit controversial. But we have another program.
But you choose to participate.
Right, you choose. If you choose, right. So if the person wants to do it, what we have is a program called GUIDE, and it stands for, I always forget what it stands for. It stands for Gables Unique Identification During Emergencies. So if you are a parent with a child with autism or with a disability, you sign up with us and you provide us with valuable information that you feel is critical that an emergency responder would like to know in the event of an emergency. So you sign up a child with autism who's a runner, who's sensitive to noise, sensitive to light. So we know that at this address, there is a child with autism who has these issues. So if there's an emergency at that house, as a first responder is going to that house, they'll be informed. Please, when you approach that house, make sure that your lights are off, sirens are off, because there's an individual there who has autism, who is sensitive to that, or whatever information you feel is important that a first responder should know when they go to your house. So that's something similar. It's not a bracelet, but it's registered with the city in our CAD system, which is a system that our 911 operators use.
Now, Rhonda, you had mentioned that you find people debating the cost benefit here. What would be your pitch for saying that no, the benefits outweigh the cost of all these programs?
Well, the cost benefit many times when I've dealt with a restaurant or something and was part of a piece of litigation, opening up their restaurants to individuals with disabilities is a benefit to everyone, because all of us have what are often referred to as temporarily ambulatory bodies. Tomorrow, your circumstance can change. And I would try to sensitize and create empathy in the business owner to understand that not only the law requires it, but it could benefit themselves, their family members, their friends, be able to have access to a facility as well. When I started my law practice 38 years ago, it was a much different world, and things have changed a lot. I think the acceptance and need to make places accessible.
Now, Coral Gables is the oldest planned community in Dade County, so there's a lot of older buildings. So let's say that you get an owner of a restaurant, let's just make this up, and retrofitting is going to be just $1 million, and they just don't have that budget. How do you balance that?
Well, you do it in a staged approach. You get someone in the door first, and it's usually not $1 million. There's a less expensive way. Okay. The point is to get access. You can put in a temporary ramp. You can put in a temporary facility. I've worked on with staff too, having an expedited permitting review to have accessibility issues taken care of right away. And I run that through the city manager's office so that businesses can get back online as quickly as possible.
And are there grants available for this for businesses to plug into?
There are tax deductions, tax credits, tax deductions. Now, I have to speak to their CPA about that, and you can phase it in over time.
Okay. Now, the people that are in your disability world, I had Easter seals on. They've got from 0 to 104 years old. And my question to Easter Seals was, what age group is one you think that's the most underserved that we can get like the highest leverage return from?
As far as accessibility, depends on
you put a dollar in and you get this much back in economic benefit, because everything, a lot of things are cost benefit. So like, what is the age range you think that you would like to see more services being geared towards?
Depends on how the condition of that person is. If they're a person that wants to get out and they need to get out, but it's just the barriers that are preventing them from getting out, there's a greater cost benefit to allowing them to get out. I hate to look at it as an economic criteria, but encouraging businesses to make places more accessible is an important thing for them to understand that they're missing out.
Sure, they sure. Now, going back to the schools, I'm curious, in Coral Gables, are all public schools autism friendly, or some that are more? Because I know there's like these there's programs, self-contained programs, they call them.
Self-contained classrooms.
Right, those.
Right.
Do all public schools in Coral Gables have that, or Dade County?
So I don't know if I mentioned already, but we have the city of Coral Gables has a disability affairs board, and one of their a couple of years ago they looked into that. Does every public school within the Gables have a self-enclosed classroom? And we realized that Gables High School does, because Project Victory, and but we did not have an elementary and a middle school with a self-contained classroom. So we were able to get Ponce Middle School a self-contained classroom last year, and we were not able to get one in within the Coral Gables, but right outside Coral Gables, we were able to get a self-contained classroom for an elementary school, and so that was a big win.
Yes, it is.
And so we were very happy for that.
I'm very happy for that too. Now, Rhonda, in April 9th, you guys raised the autism acceptance flag. Was that the first time you'd done that?
No, we've done it before with Crystal Academy.
I think it was the third year.
It was the third year.
Third year, yeah.
That's great. And what happened 3 years ago, you think, that also put it on the map for Coral Gables?
Well, Mary Palacios.
She's a force of nature.
She is a force of nature. I mean, that's what I recall. She had come to me. I mean, it's 3+ years ago, but absolutely, we need to make people more aware of these conditions so that with that comes acceptance and understanding.
I had Michael Alessandri on the podcast, and I asked him if he knew how many autistic kids there were in Dade County. He says that nobody tracks. It's not tracked. Does Coral Gables track that number? I'm curious.
I don't think so, no.
What's so difficult about that number? I'm curious.
I don't know how we track it. Sometimes we're able to provide numbers through card. They'll provide us some numbers, just numbers. That's all they can provide us, right? It's numbers, not additional information. I don't know. It's just, I think it's just, like you said, it's just difficult. And
yeah, for some reason it's difficult. Yeah, and everybody says the same thing. We don't know how to fix that problem. But we'll get there one day.
Yep.
So Coral Gables is a very progressive municipality in Dade County. And I think that a lot of others look to you guys for guidance. Now, if somebody another municipality came to you looking for guidance, what are like your big 3 things you think you would say to them?
Well, I think it all starts with, our planning and zoning department. You need to be having someone specialized in there looking out for all the barriers to accessibility. You need to have somebody like Raquel guiding the programming. I mean, the list of items that you have done is breathtaking. In all the way from fireworks from a location where it doesn't cause as much of a problem. This has been the most progressive city that I've seen.
Yes.
And as far as trying to provide programming for people of all abilities. And I think that's, a very important thing, because the more people interact. I mean, Salvador Park has been an amazing ground for children with abilities and without abilities to interact. I took my grandchildren there. It was quite an experience for them.
I took my autistic daughter there and my neurotypical boy, and they both had a great time.
Yep, that's the best.
Yes.
They can all play in their own way. And again, that fence is phenomenal because they're both just like, they go different directions.
Oh, yeah.
Just let them go and be little kids. Now, speaking of, being very forward thinking, in October, Coral Gables has designated that as Americans with Disabilities Month. What does that mean in Coral Gables?
What it means is we're recognizing the fact that we have individuals with disabilities. We're going to pay attention to removing barriers that are existing in facilities and try to do better all the time and educate everybody in the city, businesses and residents about the fact that you need to accept people. Gone are the days where you're going to be saying, oh, I'm not going to hold the door open for somebody, or give them an opportunity to get through a crowd if they're, pushing a wheelchair. So I think it's an important aspect of making people aware and understand and have empathy.
And I think the days are gone by people have chosen for them to be gone. Nobody's forcing it. At the beginning, people just don't know what they don't know. And now as we educate them, I think that it's just a natural, just nice progression that society is changing that way.
It's about time.
That's why we do this. We proclaim October, Disability Awareness Month or Acceptance Month. April, for example, we raise the flag. Our police officers have the badges with the autism logo. We have a police car with, the autism logo that says autism acceptance. So we do a lot of this education, but we want to continue to have that conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just normal now, right? And we want action. But we want to maintain the conversation. We want to maintain that conversation ongoing. And we want to now we're working with the chamber to bring in businesses to also help us with that conversation and for some action.
I think there's also a fire truck with...
Not the city yet, but I do believe there is, I think either Miami-Dade County, I'm not sure.
Several.
Miami-Dade, or yes, I've seen some fire trucks, but we do have a police vehicle.
Now in April, you guys raise the flag. Will there be a flag waving or raising or some kind of official activities for October? I'm sure there will be.
I'm sure there will be as well.
But we do every October. We started Adventure Day for All. So it's at Salvador Park. It's been there the last 3 years, and it's where we celebrate everyone, all abilities.
When is this going to be?
It's in October. We don't have the date yet, and so we have a resource fair where we have a lot of organizations come in who provide assistance to different types of disabilities. So it's a resource fair with a lot of activities for individuals with different types of abilities. And we celebrate everyone's abilities. So we like to use all abilities instead of the word disability. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the events we do in October. We usually also provide training for our employees as to, how to make your work area more accessible, how to address how to address accessibility. So we usually do different types of events in October to celebrate Disability Acceptance Month.
Very nice. Now, a very sad event happened just a few weeks ago. The little boy in Opelika, he drowned. It's a sick boy. He wandered away. He drowned. And so the county has got this initiative called Zero Drownings. But, there's a shortfall of $403 million in the county budget. So, I don't think that it's funded to the level it needs to be. Do you know if the municipalities also have similar programs like this?
As far as, we have lifeguards at our pool.
Mm-hmm. But like swimming lessons for the kids, do you know if this is the thing?
We have swimming lessons for the kids, and we can certainly look into it. I know we offer, obviously we have 2 pools now, and we do offer swimming lessons.
Oh, 2 pools. So you have
Country Club pool
and Venetian
pool.
Okay.
And so we do definitely offer swimming lessons, camps.
Very important, especially here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I just got the 2-minute warning, so let's do 5 rapid fire questions. So, Rhonda, I'll ask you first. What is one initiative Coral Gables is most proud of in terms of disability inclusion?
Well, I would say the autism acceptance, now action. I think that's something we have to be very, very proud of.
Yes, and grateful for as an autism dad.
Right.
Yes. Hey, Raquel.
Yes.
If you had to describe your future of disability services in Coral Gables in one word, what would it be? Or one sentence?
The future of?
Disability services in Coral Gables.
100% accessible.
100%. Rhonda, what's the most exciting development on the horizon for individuals with disabilities in Coral Gables?
Well, the most exciting development, I think, is that we're going to have more and more transportation accessible.
Like the trolley? Is that what you mean? Or the buses?
The trolley, it has accessibility. We're also going to have trolley stops. They're coming in. They've already been ordered, designed. They're coming as well. So it will make it easier for individuals to, be out there in that heat and be able to use the trolley system.
That's fantastic. Raquel, what is one local partnership or collaboration that's made a big impact on the disability community here in Coral Gables?
Well, I think everyone knows the answer. I think Crystal Academy, UM-CARD, both.
Yeah,
both UM-CARD, DIG. Those are really, DIG also as well. So.
Yeah, CARD, what a blessing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Have it right in Coral Gables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm part of the Just for Dads, which is the Autism Dad group. So just something there for everybody.
Yeah.
They also have a moms group. So, Rhonda, if you could celebrate one major achievement for disability inclusion in Coral Gables, what would it be?
What would it be is we are aggressively moving forward and removing the barriers. I've been working with Raquel, prioritizing which ones we're going to be, getting done sooner rather than later.
That's fantastic. Well, this has been half an hour. I told you it's going to be really fast.
Really fast. It does.
It does. So let's turn to the camera and we'll say goodbye. So this has been the Autism Podcast at Miami Newspapers with Rhonda and Raquel from Coral Gables. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.